Welcome to the Venus and Mars show, and we, as usual, are so happy to have you with us here again tonight. I'm Peter, or Mars.
And I'm Ann, Venus.
Our guests tonight, Pat Yates Donahue and Stephen Davis. I think you're going to be very interested in what they have to say and what they're going to bring to our show tonight. Ann?
They're going to be very interesting. Most of them, they've been in the public eye for a few years now, and that mostly has to do with the Whitey Bulger trial. Unfortunately, they had some relatives who passed, but they're creating a series now.
Well, you just gave a hint to the audience of what they're going to tell.
I'm happy to say it because I'm very excited about it because it's coming from the victim's point of view.
Yes, and I think this project you're going to hear about, what they're going to be talking about, is going to be very exciting. So what have you been up to? We haven't seen each other since the last, before that it was our reunion, remember?
Oh, yeah.
I mentioned that, the 40th reunion.
Yeah.
So what have you been up to?
Just trying to get through the holidays.
Yeah, you got the big bills coming?
Of course.
Yeah.
Time to go on that debt diet.
Yeah, among other diets? No.
Resolutions.
Yeah, no, have you been doing anything yourself in the acting scenes?
No, nothing new.
Not at all? I've sort of hit a lucky streak all of a sudden.
Oh.
I was on Wonderland for two days. And it was kind of cool because they had a helicopter filming us. I never saw a helicopter had the camera on the nose and was filming us. So that was kind of cool. And I was in a Netflix series called Our Society. Mm-hmm. No, The Society. And just recently I was on, it's not Sforatsu, but NOS4A2. It's a some sort of series on vampires.
Were you background?
Oh yeah,
or what?
All background on this stuff. Although I did get paid union on one of the days I was at. I'm non-union. I was paid union because I had a CDL license, and I think they never really intended to use me as the truck driver, but I think they wanted me as a backup in case something happened. So I got paid pretty good for just being an extra.
Yeah.
And I bought my truck today. I got a brand new box truck for my business, yes, which I'm not going to promote here. I'm just, so things are going pretty good, and,
Sounds like you're starting the new year off right.
It's a little scary, but I haven't had the courage to look at the bills yet. I'm talking about the visas and all that, because that never stops. But anything else? Or?
No, I mean...
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I want the winter to be over already.
You got to admit, we've had a pretty mild winter.
I know, so I don't want to put it out there in the universe.
I know.
I don't want to talk about that four-letter word.
We know what happened 3 years ago. In 15, we had very mild weather up to about January 28th.
Yeah.
And then 75 inches in the next 3 weeks.
Out like a lion. Yeah.
Okay, so shall we bring our guests on?
I would love to.
All righty.
Welcome, Steve and Pat. I just want to introduce you.
Welcome to our show, both of you.
This is Steve Davis and Pat
Donahue.
Yates. Do you like the Yates in the middle?
Fine.
Pat Yates Donahue, and that's how people can look you up on Facebook
Yes.
if they want to follow you at all. But they were actually at the Whitey trial. Unfortunately, I'm so sorry that both of you have lost relatives during all of that. And I know that the last few years from 2013, wasn't that when the trial was? Mm-hmm. Has been pretty emotional for the last few years for you guys.
Absolutely, even before the trial.
I understand that, and post-traumatic stress, but having to relive it all again for both of you, that's got to be a really emotional thing.
And you understand because you're with them on all this too.
Yeah, but they're doing some different things.
No, I'm talking about the trial and everything, going through all that.
Yeah. What I want to talk about, though, is they're coming up with a series and they're going to actually look through the victim's eyes. Now, this is going to be a series that's based on the murders. The trial itself.
From the victim's point of view.
Okay. And what do you think makes that different from your point of view?
Well, it's from, we get a script on court documents and witness testimonies and the prosecution against the defendants, and we put that all together. So it's going to be in sequence of every witness that was on the stand and everything they were asked and all the answers they gave. It's going to be just like it was in the courtroom.
Yeah.
There's going to be, what would they call it, flashbacks, when if they're coming out talking about a murder they committed and how they did it, there'll be like a flashback.
Yeah.
It'll go away. That's how we want it set up, where it's going to be all court.
Right.
And then like flashbacks and
So when this happened
The
in your
one that
life,
occurred.
the event itself.
Right.
Right, and that's what's important. I think that people don't understand.
well, they don't understand a lot, Ann, because there was a lot of witnesses as far as FBI agents that they wouldn't let the defense call because I don't know, incrimination or corruption or what, but we have the information on all that, a witness list and everything, which, a lot of people couldn't get, but we have the FBI agents that were going to be called as witnesses. They wouldn't allow them in.
How do you know when you say they wouldn't allow them in? How
Well,
would that
it's
be?
all in documents.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
That
just,
we got. I'm working with, well, Pat and I are working with attorneys, and Carmen Ortiz is even in on this.
They have lawyers.
Oh,
I know, but that word allow, that's what I'm kind of.
Well, the lawyers make up some sort of
Yeah.
a deal, so when
Well,
they
they
come
would-
into court,
You couldn't go down and get any documents or anything yourself on
This,
the part of the trial that they wouldn't let things in or things like that because it never made it to the court.
now, this is a several-part series.
It's going to be a 10-part series.
10.
10, it could be more,
Now,
but this is how we have it.
So are they going to be like, let's call them episodes for the lack of a better word. So
Yes.
are they going to have themes, different themes, or different groups of people? Like, how is it going to?
Well, it's going to go, you know how a series goes, how first it'll start out, how they captured by Whitey, and then it'll go from there.
Yeah.
And every series will go one step further.
Okay.
you
Now-
know, till they finally get to,
The first part, we sat down, we did that ourselves. The opening scene we have Whitey going into a post office. And as he's leaving the post office, this is all made up, just the opening part.
Yeah.
Everything else from this point on was real. And the ending was going to be made up too, because we figured he was going to die in prison. But when he got murdered massively and his eyes and his tongue, and he got beat so bad, it was a perfect ending for us.
Yeah, it wasn't fiction either.
No, and it's so perfect that we couldn't have written a better one. But the opening, we have him leaving the post office and looking up at the 10 most wanted, and Bin Laden was crossed off, so it made him number one. And he looked and he shook his head and he walked by a lady doing something at the counter, and her little son had a gun, a little machine gun, a little kid. And as he was walking by him, he glanced and just saw, and the kid went with the gun, and while he turned around and looked at the kid and just smiled and turned around and walked out. And then it goes to all the things that happened
Yeah.
at the apartment, them knocking on the door,
Yeah.
Getting the manager knocking on the door, and
etc.
et cetera, the garage, all that. But we were worried about more the ending, because Bob and I would sit down, and Patty
And Bob
Halloran,
Halloran from Channel 5, he helped you with the book that you
yeah,
wrote
and
too.
he writing this, he's doing this.
Oh, so he's involved in this project
Yeah.
also. Very good.
And
Very good.
we were thinking about the ending, how it'd be. He said, this is gonna, see now, they could stretch just that murder part of it in jail. They could stretch that to 3 or 4 episodes. Because you gotta realize, if the studio wants to stretch it, they got them leaving Florida, going through all these, why is he going? What in medical.
security
and then
and all
going
that other stuff.
to Oklahoma, and then what took place there over the road, and then winding up in West Virginia.
Sure.
So this, and then the murder, the way, you know.
How long do you see each finished episode being in terms of length?
Probably an hour.
An
Yeah,
hour?
no,
I would say.
episode like Ray Donovan and things like that.
Yeah.
You know,
And
it's-
how many victims and witnesses do you think this is going to encompass?
It's going
There's a
to,
lot.
I
It
think,
sounds,
and we're trying to bring out the corruption of it all.
Well,
corruption of the
FBI,
government-
state,
of the
and
government.
locals.
a lot of that was hidden, of
Hidden,
course, to
of-
the public.
And,
So-
and you're more familiar than a lot of people out there, because I seen you every day.
I know.
Every day.
Yeah.
You know, and you know what we were all going through. It's,
And I want to say how sorry I am about not being found guilty in your sister's
Yeah, I know.
situation. But I also want to talk about Stevie Rakes. Now, talk about corruption. I mean,
What a coincidence that was. I mean,
yeah, I don't
really.
think so. So again, we were talking about witness lists and things like that. And only the day before, Stevie Rakes was telling me personally
Yeah.
about how he wanted to be on the witness. He couldn't wait, and he had certain evidence that he was going to bring. And then the next day, there was no answer to the calls when he was late for court.
The news reporters didn't even know what happened. They were
I know.
asking us if we knew.
I know.
When we went to the
so
court
am I
that
to
morning.
understand that he was very eager and looking forward to taking the stand?
Absolutely.
And the
And,
day
Oh, yeah.
before, he was taken off of the witness list.
and then,
I was with him every morning.
But-
Yes.
and then what?
He
And
was
then he didn't
murdered.
show up.
No,
he didn't
I
show
didn't
up for
want,
courts.
No, he was
No,
I
murdered.
thought, yeah,
That's right.
That he was murdered the day before. But
Nobody
it was
knew.
crazy because in the documentary, U.S. versus James Whitey Bulger, they were filming me in the car, my wife and I, going to the court. And the call came in, Bob Ward had called. And I went by his house because I was right over the hill from his house. And his car wasn't there. And he said, what was he wearing? I told him what he was wearing. And he said, yeah, it's Steve. I said, I was sick.
I know.
Because he was a harmless guy. Wasn't he, Pat?
Yeah, we were shocked.
And, you know, I hope that you'll touch on some of that too in your series. Do you
Oh,
think
absolutely.
you'll incorporate
Oh, yeah.
some of that?
Absolutely.
Because those are the types of things that the public really should know about the different kinds of corruption
Exactly.
that was going on.
I was
behind the scenes.
questioned on that. Because when they asked me at the podium, the end of the day he I think he got killed or
The day they
later
found
on.
out that he was
They
killed.
said, one of the reporters said, how did you know, or the day he died, how did you know? I said, weren't really friends. We were associates with the trial.
Yeah.
And we had coffee every morning.
Uh,
And
Yeah.
that's how he died.
Pat, how
Poison
long
in
ago
his
did
coffee.
this? How long ago did this happen? I don't know. I'm ignorant to these facts.
The trial was over in
2013.
2013.
Yep.
Was when it ended, yes.
No, I meant
With her husband?
Steve Yates. Yes.
Oh, you're talking about Stevie
Stephen
Rakes?
Rakes.
Rakes.
He
I'm
was
sorry.
in- yeah, he
Wait a
was-
minute.
2013.
I'm sorry. I
Right,
don't mind
Rakes.
admitting. I am hearing Yates and Rakes. I'm
No.
sorry. Well, yeah.
That's
Well, I'm glad we
okay.
can laugh about it. I just meant, okay, I'm sorry. I
No,
just got,
It sounds, I don't blame you.
I got a mess up.
Yeah, it does sound alike.
All right.
But in Pat's case, her husband
Yeah.
was actually gunned down, but he was not any
to do with
association
anything.
to anybody out there on the street at all. He offered someone a ride home that day, and he was caught in the crossfire, innocent.
Was it the right place at the wrong time?
Yeah.
You know, it's,
And these are the types of things that people should know. Again,
Absolutely.
because the one thing that infuriated me, and I don't know about you, is the fact that everyone knew his name.
yeah.
Everyone knew his name, but I said, can you name to me any one of the victims that are being discussed in the trial? Nobody could. Nobody could. And it really just tore at me.
And I never in my whole life had heard of Whitey Bulger before my husband was killed. Had no idea who he was, where he came
Well, why
from.
would you?
You know, that,
No
and I'm like,
association.
who's this guy? I knew nothing about him till
Yeah.
the trial.
Yeah,
you know?
Wow.
that's unbelievable.
Yeah, it was like sitting in a theater, listening to a
Now,
movie.
how soon do you want to get this series on the ground?
Well, right now, what they say to us today, Pat, United Talent Agency is one of the biggest in in the industry is on he's part of the team with this. And they're going to Sundance Films the 23rd of this month. And they have like, I think it was, don't know me today, I think it was either Lifetime or one of the channels that were interested, but I told them it's the people we hired, what's the name of that?
Not a billionaire.
Not a billionaire. And that's the Berkowitz boys from Legal Seafood.
Yes.
That family.
Okay.
And they're very aggressive, and you know they have things maybe going with Netflix. That's what I really want to focus on is like Netflix, Showtime, one of the ones that have television series and.
Netflix has become really big
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
the scene. Yeah, really big.
Showtime is big too with a lot of them, but Pat and I were talking with like maybe Netflix. You know?
I think you have to have a really good series for them to pick it up. You know, this series that we're doing is very interesting. It's about the mafia. It's about the government. It's about murders. A lot of people love all those things.
And it's
It
not-
doesn't lead, it doesn't lead.
And it's a true story.
That's what I was just going to, and it's
You
true.
know,
It's not
Yeah.
made up.
It's not
you know,
absolutely. And the
fabricated.
difference is, I'm sure people are saying, well, you know, Bulger again, maybe we don't want to listen to that again. But because of the movies and how distasteful they were, you know, makes it a little harder for us because this is nothing like any of the
Right.
movies.
Which
You know what
brings
I mean?
to my next point, that I went and saw Black Mass. I don't know if,
No, I wouldn't see any of those movies.
understandably so, and I had a difficult time getting through it. But I did, but it was a joke, as far as I'm concerned.
Both movies.
Correct.
You mean how they
No.
portrayed the main characters, or just Bulger himself, or just?
It's all of it. So my hope is to see this series coming from their side, the victims, that, like in Black Mass, doesn't show anything that Billy Bulger has anything to do with it. He's just
Nothing about the
We're
nothing about
bringing
the
in the background. Oh, no,
he's
I don't have anything.
He's gonna be painted
clean.
in this one. I'll tell you.
And that's who really
With a broad
is
brush.
behind a lot.
But unless they get into the government situation, they can't throw
can't.
that in there.
I know.
So they have to stick to the actual murder scenes and how they came about versus what the actual story
Yeah.
is.
Can
you
I
know?
just ask you guys, does it really bother you talking about it over and over and over again, like doing this series? How emotionally does it benefit you or does it hurt you?
It doesn't bother me because to me, I think in the end it's going to be satisfaction because I think people are going to see what the real situation is. I mean, you know, people have bad taste in their mouth over Whitey and other people think it's a great thing.
Oh
and,
my God, I
You know,
know.
so
Yeah,
you want to just put them in the right road and say, listen, this is what's actually happened. This is
Yeah.
what's going on.
Right.
you know?
And you, Steve, how about you?
I said in the first interview I ever had was at my lawyer's office getting in my car. I'm an eye for an eye type of guy. If you do this to me, a friend or something, I want to do the same to you. I still haven't gotten the revenge and my fill of this until I want to taint them all. And you can't put any shame on anyone in the government because they have no shame.
Are you using a word there, taint? It's not even taint, it's the truth.
Yeah, it's.
You're just telling
But-
the story the way
Absolutely,
it is.
what
But
actually happened.
we want to show it like that.
Yeah, you want to expose the
Right.
truth.
Everybody.
Right.
That-
Yeah, but and the truth, the whole truth,
And this
from
is
the victim's perspective.
And this is
and-
from all of the victims. This
Right.
isn't really just from us. I mean, they've gone through the same things that we've gone through. We've just decided that we want to put it out there and
Yeah.
see what we've gone through and what the victims have gone through.
Well, have you ever noticed
know?
victims are always overly questioned?
Absolutely.
If you know what I mean. You
Yeah.
know, they're grilled.
Oh, I was
Grilled.
tortured by the FBI. I can't even tell you what went on with the FBI.
Yeah.
when
What do
my
you think? I'm
husband
here,
died.
sitting here because I want to be here. Like that's what you want to say, you know? It's
Yeah.
like, well, no. I mean, and they've suffered,
Absolutely.
personal
and,
loss.
And I think for any network on Netflix, Showtime, any one of them. For them not to take this, it'd be crazy. They'd get the ratings. It'd be a series, and that's true to life. It's from Boston. Everybody knew this guy from the age of 90 because of his age, the ages of 90 all the way down to a teenage. Okay? That the teenagers now are probably 25 or 30 years old. There's everybody. South Boston, phenomenal.
On
It'd
the
be
map.
watch. California, Florida. I went to Florida, and well, I speak about it all the time. The elderly down there all retired. Oh, I'd love to see that. When is it coming out? It's
One step
trying to
at a
make
time.
it happen.
I know.
But a lot of networks are looking. Black Mass didn't make a shit. The Departed, they're mediocre, and the documentary did well.
Yeah.
Because it was true to life of what was going on, and the question when they questioned Pat, Tommy, me.
Well, that was
all the
real
family.
time.
It was all real.
Yeah.
They had a chance to do the right thing when they made that movie, The Mask. But
I
they
agree with
didn't.
you, and they didn't.
That's
I
right.
100%
They could
agree.
have interviewed the victims. They could have spoke to them first and mentioned that they were doing this movie. There was no consideration towards any of the victims' feelings.
Well, again,
About-
you know why that is.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But it's just like, hopefully, they're not going to feel that way about our
Yeah.
series.
Are you going to film here in Boston?
We
Well,
don't
see,
know
this
that. We
is the
don't
whole
know.
thing with network. We don't know where it'd be filmed because it's going to be a lot of the courtroom things, and the flashbacks will be whatever. But I'd like it to be heard like the networks about the Black Mass and all that. They didn't make it, but this one here. It's got enough notoriety, recognition here in the Northeast.
Do you have and I forgive me if I'm forgetting, have you come up with a title?
Yes.
She did.
Is it something do you want to reveal it, or is it something you still
Yes,
want?
it's called Masters of Corruption.
Very
Nice.
good.
And let me explain
It
this.
says a lot in 3
It
words.
does say a
Listen,
word,
she'll tell you.
because the government, they're masters in what they do. The killers, they're masters in what they do. All that corruption is done by masters.
You need 2 sides for corruption.
That's
You
right.
can't do it alone.
No,
That's why they
So,
succeeded for so
I
long.
think that's a wonderful title for the series.
Well, we are looking forward to this getting off the ground. Do you think you'll come back and visit us
Yeah, we
again
just-
after it gets on the air?
Absolutely.
I would love to have that.
Well, that wraps up our show for tonight. Until next time, I'm Peter.
And I'm Ann.
Where planets align but often
Often collide.
We'll see you next time.
Thank you for watching.